If it is said that a boat is needed to cross the sea, then the help of a camel is indispensable to cross the desert. It is known as a good helper for humans to cross the desert, bearing the burden of guide and transport. Then why can't a thirsty camel touch it? In people's impression, a camel is the kind of animal with a tuft of flesh on its back. It is tall and mighty, and when we look closer, we may even worry that it'll suddenly lift us up. Regardless of the tall and mighty camel, it is actually a very docile animal. It is a good friend of our humans and generally does not conflict with people. Why can't you touch a camel that died of its thirst in the desert? What'll happen if you touch it? Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Today, we'll be looking at why touching a dead camel is so dangerous. Yeah, you heard it right. So, let's start our video. Unlike other animals, wild camels are active alone, which leads to a very wide distribution in the world. Camels were mainly active in North America 10 million years ago. After a long migration, they finally arrived in Asia and Africa. It is slowly domesticated by humans. Nowadays, it can be seen everywhere in Xinjiang, Gansu, and Inner Mongolia and China. There are many wild ones and many raised by humans. In ancient times, merchants took camels through desert commercial roads, selling various goods to every corner of the world, making the goods flow faster. In modern times, it has become a good partner for people to challenge and adventure. It can lead people who challenge the desert to find the direction and take on the work of porters. With the help of camels, they can walk through the endless desert. Don't be afraid. Some people may ask, the speed of horses is so fast. Why use camels instead of horses when crossing the desert? Obviously, people don't know much about deserts and camels. The desert is an area covered by sand. Looking at it, except for sand, it is a tenacious cactus. Perhaps in the depths of a desert, there will be a small lake that provides the nutrients of life for lucky people. Besides, there are really few other animals and plants in the desert, which is full of crises. The camel is tall and an adult camel weighs 1,000 kilograms. Unlike all species, it also has a very strong ability to endure hunger and thirst. When used in extreme environments, it is never more suitable. Animals too. A camel can drink up to 57 liters of water at a time when the water source is sufficient. But the water is not all digested immediately, but is stored in its stomach for future use in the absence of water. It maintains the body's need for water. Closer to home, what point has the camel's ability to endure hunger and thirst? The practice has found that it can stop drinking water for half a month and eat nothing for a month. This amazing ability actually originated from the lump of the fleshy hump on its back. There are currently two kinds of camels in the world, namely dromedaries and Bactrian camels. As the name suggests, the former is a camel with only one tuft of flesh, while the Bactrian camel is a camel with two tufts of flesh. The reason why it can endure hunger and thirst is all due to the hump. Someone is about to ask at this time, is it the hump that is full of water and food? This is not the case. In fact, most of the structure of the hump is fat. In an environment with no water or food, the camel can automatically convert the fat in the hump into nutrients needed by the body. Plus, the 57 liters of water previously drunk, and by staying in the stomach, these can maintain the normal functioning of the body. When the hump of the camel you see is not so high, it means that it has been hungry for a long time. However, walking through deserts is always a dangerous behavior. Water is not easy to find, and in some deserts you can't even find a drop of water. Humans should not be complacent because camels are resistant to hunger and thirst, and have a keen sense of smell. Desert areas have very few water sources. Without reference, they're easy to lose their way. It is even more difficult to find water. There are even some camels that die of thirst due to extreme environments. Many travel friends once found camels that died of thirst in the desert, but they were so smart that they did not touch them. Everyone must remember that if you find a camel dying of thirst in the future, you will never touch it. Because the camel is tall, once the camel dies in the desert, various bacteria in its body will reproduce unscrupulously, and after reproduction, it'll turn into a corrupt gas, which is extremely unpleasant. As long as the camel has no external wounds, it'll be like a balloon, constantly being enlarged by the corrupt gas. So in fact, a camel after a period of death is bigger than a living camel. Under the decomposition of microorganisms, the internal structure of the camel's body at this time has been completely destroyed, leaving only a few skeletons and various microorganisms, and the powerful air pressure is on the verge. If a little external force is applied at this time, the swollen camel will explode immediately, causing certain damage to the surrounding environment. It can be sprayed by malodorous gas and liquid, and it can be injured by high pressure airflow. In fact, a camel dying of thirst is like a whale dying on the beach. Both can bring greater disasters to humans and have the potential to explode. Everyone only needs to understand the giant view a little to understand how harmful it is. When you're walking through the desert, if you encounter a dead camel, do not try to touch it with curiosity. Don't venture to get a little water from the camel when you're hungry and thirsty. Dead camel meat cannot be eaten. It is rotted and deteriorated, and the water stored in the camel's stomach contains too many impurities and microorganisms. Drinking it will ruin the stomach and threaten everyone's life. And that's all for today's video. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section down below. I hope that you found this video interesting, and if you want to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing to my channel. See you in the following video with some more of the latest updates, and until then, stay tuned.